Hello everyone and welcome back. It's the 2025 Memorial Championship presented by Discraft. We're at Fountain Hills Disc Golf Course and I've got your MP40 lead card after day number 1. Cale Leiviska, Pete Ulibarri, Andrew Bohme, and rounding out the card coming in from Grass Valley, California, Ray Johnson. Excited to give you all 18 holes in this one video. Yes, Cale showing off some of the plastic. This is his first tournament back with Discraft, just recently making the announcement that he has left Team Prodigy. He is now with Team Discraft, where he was more than a decade ago. We'll see what the plastic can do for him. It treated him pretty well in round number 1. He's got a 1-stroke lead over Pete, and we all know about the water carry and what happens here on hole number 1. Going to hang it out plenty wide to the right. Couple skips. We'll see if he wants to be aggressive from there. Probably not. Cale's opening round was rated 10:43. Pete's opening round, one off that pace, was rated 10:33. Andrew, who hails out of Tucson, rated 986, but his first round was rated 10:13. And that's going to be safe. And Ray Johnson comes in with a 995 rating. This needs some legs. Pete thinking he put too much on it, and it manages to check up in time, so he'll be all right. And Ray's going to put it right next to the pin. That's going to be a drop-in bogey. And just a conservative play here by Cale. Completely understandable. A little overcast at the moment. It's Friday morning, right around 11 a.m. Temps have probably gotten up into the low 60s, which is where they'll probably hang out for the rest of the day. Yeah, we're all Masters age and all friendly. You still got to wait for him to pot out, hence the joke about picking it up for him. Big thanks to our friends at Spinners as we head to hole number 2, one of 2 par 4s on the course. Just break it into a pair of 350-foot drives. Landing right around here would be great. And then you always have this one tree as your main landmark, Just inside of that, as you can see, puts you inside the circle.
Thanks, buddy.
Exactly what you're looking for. That 2 will be just fine. And somehow that fights through. We'll see if he's going to have enough to be able to get there for the second shot. Well, these guys are making the tee shot look pretty easy, as you can see, also relatively calm out there. Just a matter of, yes, missing that. What a beautiful approach. And that's going to give him a putt from inside the circle. So just to establish any confusion that might be out there or clarify any confusion. We ultimately covered round 2 and round 4. So the last round at each course for the MP40 division. We had lots of action on the MPO side. We have all 4 rounds from the FPO division. But in the MP40 division, we got this being the second round. And then we ultimately get the conclusion of the event, the 4th round, which took place at Vista. So hopefully that will make a clarification as to everyone asking where's rounds 1 and 3 as these ultimately get posted. I'll repeat that later because you guys will forget. And Dustin finding some wildlife out here that's on the hunt as well.
Wow. Yeah. Nice job.
There really are fish in there.
Dude, yeah. He did the exact same thing yesterday. He eats good, I'm sure.
I don't know if it tastes good, but yes, there certainly are fish in there, and there's now 1 less. Great capture by Dustin out there on camera. Who can get the birdies now is the question. So shallow circle 2, no connection there for Cale. Looks like Ray is also actually in circle 2. I thought maybe he got just inside of it, but doesn't matter. Ray burying it, immediately negating the bogey from hole number 1. Pete with an opportunity to get a share of the lead. And he'll do just that. So all tied up at 10 under along with Cale. And the rest of the card will tap in there for their pars as we are through 2, and they're going to head on over to very short but yet pretty straightforward and relatively easy hole number 3, coming in at 294 feet. Played at 2.65 on the day in terms of the MP40 division. Elevated pin. Not a lot to it. Yes, there's OB left, right, and beyond, but at 300 feet, lots of different choices here. Pete doesn't love what he's done. We have 20 MP40 players. A little frustration that everybody couldn't get into the event. Well, not only does the Memorial typically sell out, but that's when there's more spots available due to more daylight. And now with it being in January this particular year, due to construction that's going to be taking place over at Vista, the spots were even more limited and a little bit tighter. Pete doesn't want any part of the elevated basket. Ray right on the circle. $25 feet or so for Andrew. And surprises himself by putting it up there too high to the elevated pin. Cale to pull out in front. And he again is your lone leader. And if you're watching this, you've probably already consumed the MPO coverage. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a great battle throughout the week. And pretty fun, so to speak, to watch everything go down the way that it did. Some twists and turns and really good golf that went down. Now we head over to hole 4, the third easiest hole on the course, played at just 2.35. So plenty of birdies out here. 250 feet, island green. If you do not come to rest inside the island, you go immediately to the drop zone. That includes even if you hit in the island and then skip back out of it, you must come to rest inside the island. Yeah, that's going to be pretty much underneath the pin for Cale. It's funny how 250 feet, these guys could all do with their eyes closed for the most part. Not even thinking about it. Super easy. Oh, no. Hits the wall and stays out, even after a little bend in the wall. I was just saying, 250 feet, though, all day long, you're putting it inside the circle or at circle's edge without even thinking about it. But just the fact that there's a wall there, just knowing that a bogey is so likely if you miss, it's a different kind of pressure, even though the shot's pretty easy. And that is just barely short. Not a confident-looking putt from Andrew there. Squanders his birdie opportunity. Pete steps up and has no problem, as we'd expect to see here. Ray will tap in for bogey. Andrew will be able to tap in for the par, and that proves just how close Cale is underneath the basket.
Got my best putt of the week, Mama.
Cale's mom is out there working as a social media manager and helping out in every possible way. I think she was keeping scores, taking pictures. Absolutely love to see it. Hope you're doing well, Angela. As we head now to the 5th, one of the more difficult ones for players to get. Downhill, 441, OB, off to the right in that planter box. OB, of course, being the road deep and right. And if you're going to miss, so to speak, there's nothing wrong with that. That's likely a pitch down to the pin. Walk away with a 3, no harm, no foul. Pulling it to the right and having it not come back inbounds at any point, that's the number one mistake you just cannot make here. It is high, but therefore short. In the middle, though. Is this in threat of going too deep?
I don't know.
Yeah, tough to tell, but certainly a great pull. We'll have to see exactly where that finish is. And that's pretty much the only play possible for Pete. Cale's got to be thinking just about the same in terms of laying it up. See, because even just not fully committed or concentrated means that could get up real quick and get away from you, and that's the last thing you want to do is throw it away. And the tree in front of Andrew proving to be troublesome. Now he's at circle's edge. This is the safe par. So Ray lands up against this pedestal here and isn't able to convert. Unfortunately, Andrew's got 5 on it. Who's here for the Lunas references? I don't know. Andrew, I'm sure, wishes I wasn't and that his scorecard wasn't at this point. Couple other pars, and guess what? 0 birdies by the MP40 division today on that hole. So par's not too bad. We head to the 6th, second shortest hole, I believe, in the entire tournament. Only to be shorter is hole number 7 that's coming up next. So uphill, you just cannot land to the right of the pin with any angle because it will likely pop up and then roll down the hill. Once it starts rolling, rarely does it stay in bounds. And Cale's checks up right there. Comes in and hits about 10 feet short. Skips to 5 feet. Tap incoming. Little short and a very favorable roll. Even closer. Now, mind you, the players have no idea where these are ultimately finishing. And that definitely looks scary to Ray back on the tee. He's thinking that may have went all the way down the hill even. It's like an ejector button. Just like pushing it right to the pin from over in that spot.
Wow. I actually thought everything was short just by 20 feet.
Yeah. That's so funny. I thought like these guys came in short. I thought we came in a little long. I guess we all came in right on time. I think he came in up here.
I'm not always there when you call, but I'm always on time. Oh no, now we're going to Ja Rule.
Didn't expect to be so close.
We got a couple. Look at these.
There's one
Some
there.
marks. There's one right.
This is the age group, though. I mean,
Look at this one.
if anybody's going to get a Ja Rule reference, it's some of us in our 40s. All right, they're all parked, and now, even better yet, these guys can go back and watch the footage and find out how they all got there. Nice star frame.
Yeah.
Farthest.
Now we head over to hole number 7, just 210 feet. Danger. Danger, short, left, and beyond. And even when you're safe, it can still be dangerous, because if you're at 35 or 40 feet or even 28 feet, it can look like a long way to the pin. Good looking shot. And that's where the range where things can make you think twice. And we must be about 1 hour into the round, because now we're hearing the fountain go off at the top of the hour. I believe it's noon. Let's keep this birdie train rolling.
Coming towards us.
Pro tip that I've shared in years past: if the fountain water or mist is blowing directly at you and it's like hitting you in any capacity, keep your mouth closed. Keep your eyes closed if you can. Turn around. Maybe if it hits, you know, your back, that's one thing, but don't let it hit your sunglasses or any of your lenses.
Beat that clock by 45 seconds.
That's recycled wastewater. As we head over to the 8th, our last par 4, which is the second one on the course. Just 570 feet, so a very short par 4. But you can see if you get to here, you've thrown a near perfect shot, and then you'll have an approach over to the Peninsula Green. Great pace so far by both Cale and Pete, sitting 4 under through 7 holes played. I love the low line drive if you got it. I was trying to punch it right through. Bohme opts to go up and over. Even some sound effects, I think, from Cale there. He doesn't need credit on the video. Commentator credit, possibly. Sound effects guy? I don't know. Great shot by Ulibarri to put him on the peninsula. Again, that knee knocker area, just enough to make you second guess all of your putting when you're out in that area. Similar distance there for Cale. And a huge drive by Andrew. This is one of the longest drives that we've seen that was safe all weekend by any competitor. What a birdie. Huge drive. The approach got away from him just a little bit, but to get all the way to the water's edge and then still come back and hit the birdie putt. Nice work. It's going to move to 1 under on the round. Beautiful. What is that, 10 consecutive birdies? Everybody got 6. Everybody got 7. So there's 8 in a row for the card. 2 more on top of it. Are we going to look at 3 consecutive star frames? Is there a name for 3 star, like a turkey of star frames? Well, you know that's what I got to ask you then. What would you name a turkey of star frames? Oh, just barely squeaking it in. Big thanks to our friends over at Pastry Dyes. You can click on that QR code if you want to pause the video. Any purchases you use over there should get you 20% off, but I know that discount's running out soon, so go out there and utilize it right away. Something goofy, a little hole over there by Cale's foot, and he's going to leave a hole on the scorecard. It was going to be 3 star frames in a row. It's probably been decades since Cale let someone down like that. Those high school admirers back in the day never had a chance. We head over to the 9th. 406 feet. Very much plays like a par 4, a very dangerous par 3. Always the most difficult hole on the course. Today is no different. in fact, currently playing right around 3/4 of a stroke over par. We've yet to see a birdie. Does our lead card have one? Well, if so, it's not coming from Pete. Out of bounds. Ray keeps it clean and finds inbounds. Way back in layup territory, but safe. Andrew's going for it. Oh, and just a few feet short. Cale comes up short. All right, well, can anyone save the par? I mean, I guess we got to change our expectations a little here. Ray, the only one not out of bounds. And Cale talking about how fast the greens are. You have a little left on it to save the par. Or excuse me, to save bogey. And Pete given a spot up here near the green, as is Andrew. That's heartbreaking. The Ducks appear to be amused. No one else is. So Cale will save the bogey. It's going to be his first one of the day. Well, at least the disc is retrieved. Left-hand retrieval, but not going well here for Andrew. Hole 9 having its way with him. Ray happy to tap in for the par. He's picking up strokes on the entire card. Just a matter of how many. That's going to be a 6, and Pete had pitched up to there, which secures the bogey. So, wow. 2 bogeys and a triple bogey along with the lone par by Ray. We're through 9 holes, and with that, we're going to head to the back. All this coverage made possible. Thank you to my Patreon subscribers and members. I'm also doing something new. I'm doing the YouTube membership, which means if I put out a video in the middle of the night, I can actually let it release to anyone that's already a YouTube member of my channel. There's a couple other perks in there that I'm interested to build out and develop, but oftentimes a video is up sometime at night, but the logical release time is morning. And if you're international, or if you're just anxious and maybe you're a night owl, that could be one of the biggest reasons why you may want to become a member here on the YouTube channel. Is as soon as it's up, it could get released to just you and the other members. And of course, it supports me and the channel and getting more tournaments covered and all that kind of stuff. So that, Patreon, whatever, lots of different options, and I appreciate each and every one of you.
All right.
Cale loves it. Have we seen a forehand by this card? Don't think we have yet. very, very aggressive green here that you can go after. Everything in a low-lying area there. Not a real good chance for anything to get away from you, so to speak. Ray picks up the birdie. It's going to push him to 3 under on the round. And Cale will pull back ahead now and do solo first at 14. All your disc shipping needs, hopefully I can help you out. I produce my disc in a box, which are great for shipping 1, 2, or 3 discs. I can also send some reclosable poly bags to you as well if you want to protect them before you ship them to people. Reach on out to me or head on over to shop.thediscgolfguy.com. Hundreds? Yeah, hundreds of thousands of those boxes have now been put out there in circulation. I had to double check my number there for a moment, but hundreds of thousands in the last few years. So working great. Tons of our top level disc golfers use them for shipping discs. And then of course, tons of shops, lots of people that dye discs. I mean, obviously if you buy or ship discs in any capacity, they're a great way to protect your disc. And I'm happy to help you out. Those come directly from me, by the way. I package those up and I ship those to you. Oh, one of what, 4 or 5 trees. And he connects with it on that right side. Otherwise, I think he was going to get to pin high. Now, got to be careful with this angle because that could get up and roll 50 feet. Ends up sitting within 10 or 15. Open look for Ray. But just short. Solid hit. Pete will move to 14 under. Cale answers with a birdie of his own. We're going to move on to hole 12. Relatively easy, a short little sub 300 footer downhill. 293 probably plays 270. Just a matter of you taking that high spiking hyzer, something that sweeps. Do you take a low line drive pretty much straight at it? Do you play kind of the middle route? That's what I would consider the mid route right there. Not too high or too low. But maybe not quite enough skip. Looks like a copy and paste. Higher and wider. And now closer. Many of you saw McMahon go forehand. That might be the one time I've ever seen a forehand in all of the years here. That might be the only time I've ever seen it. And unfortunately, he was punished, if you recall, by getting stuck in the tree and getting a 2-meter penalty on top of it. Pete's off the mark. Gives Cale a chance for a little separation. Can he get to 16? Yes, he does. Fortunately, we've seen a pattern here. Ray has been low on at least 3 different putts now that have hit front cage. Pete's in for the par, and Andrew short range. It'll take a moment, but stabs it in. Of course, Discraft, our presenting sponsor of the tournament, I believe in the 37th year of the Memorial Championship taking place, as they team up with Spinners on the Green to give us this incredible experience. I know we're also going to see a Shelly Sharp Memorial taking place in the middle of February. Lots of action out here in Arizona. Big thanks to my friends over at First Light as well. If it weren't for them, you would not see nearly as much coverage coming from my channel in Arizona. So I appreciate all their support. Dan, Robin, Boyd, as Cale is just deep of the pin. Nice shot by Andrew that gets a little legs at the end and then ultimately is going to roll away. Low line drive coming from Pete, but not quite enough to get away from that slightly longer grass. I'm sure he could tell us what kind of grass that is, but I don't know off the top of my head. And Ray finds the short grass on the hill, skipping out towards Circle's Edge. Big thanks to our friends over at resistancedisc.com. Use the code dgguy. Get yourself a discount. Jeff Corns and crew. Now they sponsor a number of players, but also running some events. So dgguy gets you the discount. And the long one coming from Ray. That one, plenty of height. And a solid birdie here on the 13th. Pete making the mistake we've seen from Ray. That one's short, and that's going to be a 3-putt. And what would be probably now a 2-stroke swing between him and Cale. Going to create a little more distance between them. That's, of course, assuming Cale converts here, but Cale's looking for birdie. Pete with a bogey would give Cale a 4-stroke advantage.
Those are scary.
We're through 13. Cale up by 4. And we head to the 14th at 375. Danger on the left side. You could bring that sidewalk into play very quickly as the disc comes in. If it skips hard, moving from right to left, very easy to find that out of bounds. You hang it out too far to the right, and it doesn't get enough skip to the pin. It doesn't seem like it should be that hard, but it's just a very very small space where I feel like you can hit in the sweet spot to get the skip you want without it being too much or too little. And Cale's pulled it right, so long range right side look. Not really in birdie territory. I do like that space to the left, though. That gives you more options. The tree doesn't come into play nearly as much when you're down on that left side. Gives you a slightly uphill putt. Yeah, everything I just said there for Ray. Same thing. I like this by Pete. Does it get the right skip? Pretty much does. That's going to give him a look. He'll be obstructed, but he'll have a look. I wouldn't say that shot was lights out. Almost same exact spot now for Ray. Andrew doesn't convert. Ray has the height again. Great birdie. He'll move to 11 under. It's 5 for the round. And Pete doesn't get all the way to the box, so none of that in his way. And nice birdie. Gonna pick another stroke back up now. Cale currently behind that box. So Pete gets one back. He's back within 3 of Leiviska. We head to the 15th. 426 feet. Most players will go up and over that tree. Some of the players might need a little flex in their line to get this the 426. And then protect it at the end just by a couple of trees.
Push? I'm not going to hyzer much. You look impressive. Throw flats. That's it.
And here's the flex I was talking about. Nice movement on that coming from Pete. Cale asking for all of it to get there. And that's going to go left side, but appears to stay inbounds. You can start bringing that sidewalk into play if you get all the way there, but not quite. Doesn't look like you got there. But not by much. As you can see, that's the next tee, actually, hole number 16's tee. I wouldn't be mad to see an OB line somewhere off on this left side. It's kind of assuring that you have to stay out of the way of hole 16. Or you get punished, I should say, if you just put it over there. I don't know, it's just an idea. We maybe have seen that in the past, I'm not sure. And there it is. This is probably the single most parred hole on the course, if I would think. Well, there ended up being 4 birdies, and it played at 2.8, 7th most difficult. So a little bit surprising to see that. I would have expected Well, I guess 4 birdies. That's almost 25% of the field. What did I say? There's 20 players or so. Not too much to hole 16, just out and around the 2 final trees to beat as a righty Hyzer. Still calling for an ace on camera here. Pete has the line as well. Feeling a little bit of the wind pickup.
Thank you.
I'm getting hole 6 vibes. Just everybody right there. They're not quite as parked as they were on hole 6, of course, but everyone inside the circle. The 27-footer, though, for Ray is low. Cale about 25 feet. Friendly high left side chain, but it falls in for him. Cale to 8 under on the round. A chance to match the same pace he had in the opening round where he shot 10. Well, that wasn't very nice. Off the top and then a nasty roll away to boot. Andrew's going to turn his 2 into a 4, unfortunately, and Pete stepping up. He's going to go to 6 under on the round. That's going to keep him 3 back of Cale. Just 2 holes left to play. The last 2 holes they'll play at Fountain for the tournament before they head over to Vista. Here's your reminder. You will not see round number 3, but you will see their concluding round, round number 4, which takes place at Vista. We got 2 out of the 4 rounds, some bonus action of this incredible MP40 division. 17 is 468, slightly downhill. Just bomb it out there to the right. And then either play for the skip, or maybe you can get there in the air.
That's not how you get anything out of it, bud.
All right. Pete's breaking it down for us. You're not going to get it there nose down. Not that much nose down anyway. Cale will get a skip.
Crested it, yeah.
What are you throwing here? 468 downhill. That's what I need to know. It's going to be off on the right side, but what's the disc of choice for you to get yourself as close as possible? And you may or may not be getting there, but what's the driver of choice? Assuming relatively calm wind or no wind, what's the disc of choice? Ray looking for a long one.
Oh.
Cale liked the angle. Also a good angle by Andrew, but not enough to pull it in. Cale's in the middle of circle 2. I'm glad he can laugh at that because, well, I guess I would have either way probably. That was not his best effort, as he said. Well, he said it was good, but I think he was being facetious. And now, still trouble. I mean, if I'm going to turn anything into an NFT someday, an unforced air by Cale might be worth actually putting out there because it just doesn't happen often. So crazy to see that. Cale is going to give a stroke back to the field here. And I'm not trying to make fun of him. It is that rare you see something of that nature. Things not going right for him on that particular hole. We head to the 18th, final hole of the round. We'll see how things will shake out at the halfway point of the tournament once they're done with 18. Just 400 feet. If you've got the forehand and the big power shot, you may be going left out over the water and bringing it back in. I don't see that coming from this group. So probably something low line drive off on the right side. May require a skip to get there. Line drive right side, but not the angle he was looking for. Not in any danger, but that needed to be essentially flat out of his hand and then have it just get a skip off the side. Got woofed. Barking at him. I like the power. He's deep. That's a big dog shot. Right side for Cale. Oh, the approach he should need. A little bit closer for Ray. Cale not messing with anything, trying to just finish out with a 7 under to follow up his 10. Andrew, short range, birdie.
Nice deuce.
What a way to finish it out. Taking the birdie on the final hole. We'll see pars by the rest of the group. And we'll take a look at the scores as they'll head over to Vista del Camino, playing the Vista XL layout. And we'll see who's all going to be on the lead card. They'll play it out on Saturday, and then Sunday we'll have all of the lead card action for you. But heading into the third round, Cale, Pete, Elijah, and Ray. Good luck to them on Saturday. We'll catch up with them on Championship Sunday. All the action over at Vista. Thanks once again. Like, share, and subscribe. And with that, I'm the Disc Golf Guy, and I'll find you in the fairway.